What's up, y'all? This is the Big Organ Meat. The Big Organ Meat walking down East 10th Street. I like that. That rhyme, man. The Big Organ Meat walking down East 10th Street. Had to get something to eat because my feet was full of stink. Stink feet. King of the streets. Hey, listen, man, I gotta tell you, I started making these videos because I would watch other people's videos and they would address some of the content, but they would leave out some details. And then when you call to get in, I could never address the points that I wanted to address. You know, I was only able to address a few items, and then they got to move on to the next caller. So I decided, man, to make my own damn videos, man. And I also got tired of the dudes asking you to cash app them in Venmo and PayPal and all that jazz. So, all right, the content of the purpose of this video right now is just to tell some of you women the truth. Some of y'all is giving up the pussy too easy. You're giving it up too soon, and you're giving it up too easy. So this is the cause of all the problems that you are having in your relationships, because you are giving up that booty before you have even defined if you are even in a relationship. You have never had that conversation. You've approached this like a child. You figure if I share my cupcakes with you, then you're my friend. So what you wind up doing is you wind up giving the men that you meet and you're very attracted to, you wind up giving them men some pussy, and then you expected that because you gave him some pussy, that means that he understood that you two are now in a relationship. And then you get your feelings hurt when you find out, no, that to a man, you giving me some pussy, oh, that was a great thing to do. Wow, you're quite a pal. And then I give you buddy Jesus thumbs, but it doesn't mean we're in a relationship. What means we're in a relationship is if we have this conversation. Are we in a relationship? And if we've never had this conversation, you're just drawing assumptions based on what you think someone is supposed to decipher what your behavior means. And it's supposed to mean the same thing to that person. You're setting yourself up for failure right there. There should be a record store over here. Let me see. The Breeze Shop. Nah. Yeti Tracks and Snacks. Well, it looked like they had a business. Ooh, man. I don't know. But I gotta, let me step back here for a minute because the car up there is playing music and that's going to interfere with the content of the video. So the point is, what you women have to do is you have to have the discussion. What are we and where are we before you lay down with that dude? Because the minute you lay down with that dude, and so this is, like I said, this is why I had to make my own videos, because other people, they were addressing whatever they wanted to address on their channel, and they would have half of this conversation. They would blame the women for giving her pussy out, but they wouldn't explain to her or even attempt to break it down. Now, I'm telling you how the world works. You can not heed what I'm talking about because, that's what women do. You give them crucial, pertinent advice, and they pass on it. And then, well, that's just for you. That's not for the world in general. Well, that's cool. But at least you made the effort to break this thing down to the very last compound, as KRS would say. At least you made the effort to show her and tell her that whatever you think how this thing works, nah, it don't really work that way. So whatever you think you're doing, you're going to be doing it to your own dismay. All right? Because the fact of the matter is, like I'm saying, when you meet the guy and you like the guy, a lot of you women are not even going on dates. You don't even know how to date. You don't even know who's supposed to do what and how, and then, all right? And I'm not going to say, because a lot of times when we have this conversation, the guy, he winds up talking from his frame of reference. So he talks about, well, black women, and then now it becomes some misogynoir type of thing. It's got a groove to it. It's got an aura of misogynoir, because it sounds like I'm talking only about black women, and I'm not. I'm talking about all of these young women now. All of them. And I don't even mean the young women either. I mean the middle-aged women as well. All right? If you are less than 48 years old, which means you were born in 1973 in the year 2021. A lot of you women have not been married. You never will be married. And you wouldn't know what to do with a good man if you met him. You just wouldn't know. because you done spent your whole life giving your pussy to bad men. And it ain't that the men with themselves were bad, it's that your expectations were bad. Those men might have been great, but your expectations were bad because you never had a discussion. What are we doing here? And now what happens is you want to have this discussion when you in your 50s. But in your 50s or in your high 40s, yeah, all right. Above 41, 42, 43, 44, above that, what are we doing here? Who cares? Because at this rate, let me tell you, firsthand, the inventory is abundant. So this is a conversation that you got to have with a man when you are 21, 22, before you give yourself to him. Because also, a lot of you wouldn't be single mothers if you knew where you stood before you laid down with that man. Because you done played the whole thing wrong, A century ago, the women's family wanted to know your intentions, and then you could make a play for that daughter. These days, somehow, under the guise of feminism, you thinking you're doing better. You think you're doing better because you get to make the decision if you want to be with that man.